Do either of you have good guides on downgrading from 11 to 10 Windows?
I've never had
Ooh.
that thing as a thing to do, so no.
I don't either.
They added a quote unquote AI companion to Windows 11.
Oh, is this the Copilot that I can't get rid of the icon for?
Yeah.
That explains that.
It is apparently just basically a keylogger slash.
Oh, there we go. But I can pull up the settings and turn it off. Done.
Can you?
Yeah. Right click on the menu and go to right click on the taskbar and go to taskbar settings. And under personalization, there's a toggle for Copilot on off.
Personalization. Copilot. It's just whether or not the button appears on the taskbar, but it's not turning it off.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, the first step is you don't want it appearing on the taskbar. The second step is you probably can't remove it from the internals. I don't know.
There is a list online for doing it. It involves a lot of steps, and then turning your computer off.
Hello, regedit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a bunch of registry key stuff. I'm guessing.
Yeah. The easiest way, since I have problems with other problems with Windows 11, is to downgrade to 10.
Yeah, I don't have any. I'm still on 10, so I don't have any ways to tell you how to downgrade. But it's been okay. I mean, it's fine. I don't know how much longer that will be a viable option because Microsoft will eventually stop supporting it one of these years.
2025.
Not yet. That's all I can tell you. It's not today, so I don't know.
2025. I think. End of 2025, if I remember correctly. Sorry. I've had this discussion a few times with people that are still on 10, and that's my memory. End of 2025. Oh, come on. That's you, and we're not even going to talk about Red Bull's side pods?
Half of that is from Michael, so like I was taking...
Oh yeah, we were starting the list before you hopped on.
How are we not going to talk about the side pods, JJ?
Yeah, bro, put it on there. I'll talk about it. Look, you want me to talk about a thing? I'll talk about a thing.
Andy, I was saying that I wanted to hear if there was a story behind you getting called up to the majors as a batting coach.
I don't know if I want to talk about that on the podcast.
Okay. Andy's batting clinic. I want to know.
What? How did you hear about this? Oh,
Michael right now.
Happen?
I heard about it from Michael right now.
A couple of days ago, I think. Yeah, she mentioned it on Friday.
Yeah. So I'm now a pseudo.
Wait, burning pod? What are you doing here? Stop! Hit record.
I can't. I don't know if I. Okay, it's recording. I could put this at the end, maybe. I don't know if I should talk about it or not.
What are we like? Or if I could personally identifiable information here? I don't think so. Are you just that bad at baseball, bro? I dropped playing baseball in Little League
easy
because
sir.
I am terrible.
Now he's just trying to bait you.
I couldn't hit a ball past 4th grade when they stopped using the tees, dude.
You generally have to use. They don't use tees in 4th grade, so I don't know what league you were playing with, but
yeah, bro, I'm bad.
I think you had to wear helmets all the time. You know what I mean?
Look, yeah, I'm bad at baseball, is what I'm saying. Fun to watch, no good at playing.
Okay, Michael. I will do this in a way that does not grant personable, identifiable information to the people involved.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a way. I threw it out there as an if you want to talk about it.
I'm excited about it, but I don't want to I'm not. Sure. I don't want to fan or fawn or. I mean, he's just a person.
Sure.
Overall. Yeah. But we were at. My daughter has decided to start playing. Hello, welcome to We Were Gamers. This is not the opening to the podcast. I had an amazing opening to the podcast, and
why isn't it though? I mean, I don't know.
No, it is now.
Isn't that what people are here for? Really, in the end,
okay. Welcome to We Were Gamers. I am recording. It's 391.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit you back, Michael, with an impossible thing for you to solve after this.
All right, do it. Bring it on.
I went to practice. I've been working with my daughter on softball. She wants to play softball, and I played baseball for many, many years. And I played for enough years and with enough private coaching that I still have most of the mechanical know-how for playing the game, even if I was never a pro level player or even a college level player. I mean, I played up until college, but at a certain level, it just got to be something I didn't enjoy, and I didn't stick with it. But it was something that I know well enough that when, you know, my daughter who's never played before is looking for beginner advice, it's not that hard to start out with a tee, like you were saying, JJ, you know, and line them up on.
Look, when it's not moving, easy.
Line them up on the tee. There are a few girls on the team that have played plenty before. The coaches in general seem to be more, the main coaches seem to be more concerned with getting the team ready with like actual how to play the game stuff. So they're trying to run the team through, okay, this is what the infield is. This is where you stand. This is, you know, most of them have not played. Or if they have played, they've played a year or so. And they still have a lot of things mechanically and game-wise to learn about how to play the game. And that's cool. That's kind of fun, actually, to pass down knowledge or whatever. So I went to practice, and I was like, hey, where can I help out? I played baseball. I'm not a softball expert, but I can try and help with something if you guys have something specific you want help with. And they're like, well, we've got fielding position for grounders covered, right? Like they need to know how to get their glove down on the ground, snap up and throw. And so we've got that covered with these two coaches. These two coaches are going to do this. Do you want to help out this other dad with batting? I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. What do you want me to teach? And they're like, well, we're just going to leave it to him because he played with the Angels.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, then,
I'll just do what he says.
I'm just gonna watch, and I'll just do what he does. And it turns out he did exactly the same things I'd been doing with my daughter, basically exactly anyway, and working through it in just like basic steps of, you know, how to use the tee and, you know, get your hands right, these types of things. It was not what I'm sure is a skill gap that would eventually develop in our knowledge of the game.
Well, when the pitching starts coming, I'm sure he has more things to talk about.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And then when the pitching moves up to 100 miles an hour, he has different things to say that maybe those of us lay people can't comprehend.
I was definitely taken aback because I've talked to this parent before, and it was like not even a thing that came up. Like, yeah, I know a little bit about baseball. It's like,
so
okay.
So then did you like look up this dude's like MLB stat page or whatever?
I just had not known his last name before that point, and once I heard the last name, I was like, oh, I watched this person play baseball. I just never knew what they looked like.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's cool.
So just me and my pro coaching partner, teaching batting to
that's
9-year-old kids.
That's definitely the way you should always phrase it. It's like me and my partner.
we are equals in this situation.
I've been to two practices, and he and I have both been the hitting coaches at 2 practices. So, you know, that says something about my skills. I'm just saying.
No notes.
Yeah, I know. Michael, now you've got to step your MLB level of food delineations. You're kind of the expert here. You're kind of the one that has drawn the most lines in the sand on what food is what.
All right. Now you can't see me, but I'm warming up my arm over here.
Stretch. You're gonna need to stretch for this one.
Okay.
I bought some cupcakes today, and
Ooh, good start.
I bought them from a bakery, a real bakery, not the bakery at the grocery store.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
They were large, like large, and many of the children did not like the buttercream that came on them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I
Making
ended
the
up with
side eye here. I'm already.
well,
This might be going where I think it's going, and I have opinions if that's the case. But
here we
continue.
go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
When removed of buttercream, there was a leftover chocolate one, and it was large, and it was well cooked. The top was large and larger than the bottom, and I
Okay.
thought to myself, how is this not just a muffin? Is right.
I have had this discussion before, and I think that the batter for cupcakes is different from the batter for muffins. That cupcake batter is more like cake batter, whereas muffin batter is more like bread batter, and not like loaf of bread batter, but more like a banana bread batter.
I believe the technical term for it is like it's a quick bread.
Yes.
A muffin
and
is
I
a
own-
quick bread.
Yeah.
Yes.
But how can you have a chocolate muffin and a chocolate cupcake and them almost feel exactly the same?
See, when you get into something like chocolate, it really starts to blur the line, right?
Sure
But
does.
if I gave you a blueberry muffin and and then like a blueberry cupcake, you could tell the difference. Like there's a textural difference to cupcakes.
You're supreme courting me here with your
Very
you know it when you
hello.
see it.
This is the Supreme Court of
Yeah.
food decisions.
You know it when you see it. I'm just saying, a cupcake, the blueberry cupcake may look different with its blueberryness, but you could still put blueberries in it just like you can a muffin. And you could take a muffin, a blueberry muffin, and put frosting on it, and you'd be hard convinced if it was a small muffin not to prove that it wasn't a cupcake.
I think
Sure,
you
but
would
there's
know
also a
pretty quick
textural difference.
when you taste the muffin part, you'd be like, "Hey, this doesn't taste like a cupcake."
I don't know, man. This cupcake to me, when I ate it today, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is like a muffin.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you that the ones you had weren't a problem, but like, because I have had you. I feel like both of you have had the cake that I have at my birthday most years.
Oh yeah,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We have started making it in muffin tins.
as you should. That's awesome.
Nice.
Because
More
what
crusty.
the hell are you gonna do? That cake is like chocolate and peanut butter and like 8 billion calories and impossible to eat because it's huge. You finish one slice and you're like done for the day. But if you have a muffin, it's like, wow, this is pretty good. Like, hey, so, but it tastes like a cake. That muffin is cake. You can tell. And if I bite into a muffin, like the only ones that blur and get close to that line are like when you get store-bought muffins and they're really sweet, like the Costco ones sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Those are really close to that cake line, but they still aren't quite there. But like if you go to a bakery or something, it's like hands down obvious that it doesn't taste like cake. To me, anyway. So maybe it's a, I'm also not a big chocolate guy, so maybe I'm not buying the chocolate ones and then not noticing that the chocolate ones are a little more cakier than the non-chocolate ones. That could be.
Yeah, I think to me it just comes down to density.
Density. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of density, y'all, we got to talk about housing developments.
Real ones or fake ones?
Smooth.
on islands.
Uh-oh. I'm into this because I have different housing to talk about.
Uh-oh? Question mark?
Not real housing. It's okay. We're transitioning to games now. So JJ, do it up.
Okay. Have either of you played Animal Crossing? I assume at least one of you has.
I have never played an Animal Crossing, as hyped up as it is and as much as I've seen about it in the zeitgeist.
remember this later when I say it again in about 15 minutes. I have played an Animal Crossing. I got it for free from the 3DS. I don't know why they gave it out for free 1 year. Maybe they leaked my personal data or something. You know?
Seems like a thing that would happen.
I played it for about an hour, whichever one the 3DS one was, and I thought, if I'm going to clean a digital house, I might as well clean my regular house instead. And I turned it off and never looked back.
It's a fair statement.
It's the Guitar Hero argument. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, if you're gonna play Guitar Hero, learn guitar.
Right.
Yeah. Someone tried that. I can't remember what the name of the game was, but they tried to make Guitar Hero for real guitars, and it just never took off. I think it was too expensive for a lot of people.
I remember that.
The game was called Rocksmith, and it was we're gonna force you to actually play chords, and then the reason it never took off is because it's hard.
It's probably I don't know. Maybe it still exists. I don't know if
I don't know if the game is still available or not. Yeah. But I've been playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and there's a portion of that game where you go to an island. That game has like a billion mini games in it, as a lot of these Yakuza games do. And this one, they're like, what if we just built an entire Animal Crossing game inside this game for no reason? No reason. We send you there as a side quest. You can just go back whenever you want. You can use the island to build buildings and do whatever you want. Lay your islands out. Make your resort stronger.
Is it like Animal Crossing, or is it more like Bravely Default, where you had the town that you were rebuilding?
No, it's super duper Animal Crossing. You have like buildings. You can place them on a grid. You can make a chair.
Okay.
You have to decorate your own house. You got to collect wood, fossils, like mushrooms. It's super duper Animal Crossing.
The best Animal Crossing game I ever played was Kingdom for Kieflings on Xbox.
Oh, I played a little bit of that.
Yeah. Because it had a defined series of things you needed to do, much like an RTS, where it was like, oh, I just need these people to go farm the woods. Like, I'm going to build a mill and they're going to go farm the woods for me. And then I've got wood coming in, and now I can make the next building and the next building and the next building, and then the game is actually over at a certain point.
So that is this has some parallels to that, in that this like side mini game is like every day they give you like a list of quests, and it's like chop 7 trees, break 3 rocks, build 3 furnishings, sell an item, collect treasures from the ocean or whatever, right? Like fish 6 fish or whatever. There's like 4 or 5 of them every day. And then
it has dailies for a game inside a game.
Oh, but the days are like from the time you go to sleep. It's not real time.
Okay. It's in-game days.
And you can sleep on the island, I assume, to advance the days?
Bro, you have to go to sleep at your house at the end of every single day. That's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little timer on the side that shows you like, daylight, and then it ticks down to like evening.
Oh, man.
And then it goes into
all
night.
This stuff is about the same thing in the next game we're going to talk about.
It is. And then it's like, oh, well, so then the goals are like, hey, this island used to be this like famous resort, but then it kind of went to crap and is not really very good, littered with trash. Clear up all this trash. Let's build it into like a resort. We can invite people in. The people pay you money. It's how you get money out of it, right? You make Doko bucks, I think is the name. The island is Don Doko Island is the name of it. And they level up to like a 1-star resort, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, up to 5-star, right? And then your ratings, you give popularity rating and satisfaction rating. You got to get an S. Got to get an S rating, Andrew, right? S is better than A.
S plus, dude. S plus.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an S plus. I'm not there yet. Anyway, but they give you clear goals. It's like, hey, if you want to get to 2-star, you need to do like clear this field. You need to build.
God, this is exactly
a popularity rating of this number, a thing of this number. Like they give you these clear goals, and you're like, well, this isn't that much extra work. 500 stone.
I only need 500 stone to get to level 2 on my base, and then I get extra blank workers.
It is like that.
JJ, you remember me talking about Ebony a couple of weeks ago?
I do remember, Michael. I do remember.
Yeah.
I got 500 stone and I got level 2, and it's like, well, level 3 is like, okay, well, that's a lot. So I'm just going to go back and play some Yakuza then. And then I come back a little later because I'm out of money. And it's like, this island is a good way to make money. It's like, but if I get like 500,000 more bucks, I can like build a cottage on the house. And then like that cottage will mean the people that come earn me more money. And then I can build this building where they'll spend the money at. And it like, but then I can go mine more stone by building a stone mining building. And then, and bro, that game took over my life for a few days there. It got really bad.
Just when you think you're out.
I did eventually get to a 5-star resort. I'll have you know. Thank you.
And you're done? Can you be done with it
because
now?
I haven't got S. I'm only A. I'm only A rank. There's got to be S's. I know this game has S's. Because I have some like, one of those things where it's like, you pick the guests you want to come stay at your island resort, right? And it's like the higher rank the guest, the more things they care about. So you got to have more points in all the various categories. And some of the guests require S's in certain categories, and I don't have S's in those categories. So I know it must be possible, but I just got to build more stuff. But now I'm starting to think like, okay, do I need to like tear down old structures to get like higher rated ones? Because I don't have, like, now I'm running out of space.
What if there was a button inside your build menu that just let you delete buildings?
Yeah, it's not like that. You definitely have to like go in and grab them off the grid. You can minimize a giant building down to 1 square in your inventory, which is cool. But as soon as you put it out on the island, it's like a 40 by 40 building. You can't help it anymore.
It's like a Pokeball for your buildings.
Yeah, it is. So it's like I can build 10 of the same chair, and it takes 1 slot in my inventory. But each chair on the island
like straight up Minecraft.
Is like a 4x4,
Yeah.
So, I got very addicted to this game for like a hot couple of days. That I was like, wait, I have like not like Doko bucks. I had like 500,000 real dollars in the game currency, and I was like, wait a minute, why am I still doing this? I was here to like earn this money. I have more money than I need. I can go.
Yeah.
I will go back and get more money though, because the money will run out eventually. I'm sure.
It's weird that it can't make you money without you going there. Like in
yeah, you kind of have to grind the game a little bit.
Fable 3 or 2, when you could like buy buildings and rent them and just have like passive income.
Yeah. Maybe there's an upgrade that lets them run the resort part automatically. It doesn't take that long to do it. It would be the equivalent of playing a round of one of the other mini games in one of those things. It's like, enough, and you'd earn like $20,000 or whatever, or maybe more if you get more fancy people. I don't know. Maybe all the S-class people give you more stuff, but I ain't there. I don't know. So
what if?
Yeah, I want to hear your Animal Crossing journey, Andy.
What if you took that game and you took Minecraft and you took open world Pokemon and put them all together? Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to join the discourse and talk about Palworld?
Oh, okay. I was wondering where we were going with this. Great. Okay. Did you play Palworld?
It's available on the Xbox for PC Game Pass as a game you can just play. Don't have to pay money. Extra money, I guess. So what if you had to collect 500 stone and 500 twigs?
Sure. Yeah.
In order to build a workbench and a campfire, and then hack down 3 more trees so you could build a bed, and then you could upgrade your base to level 2, and then at level 2 you're allowed to use a pal, or aka a Pokemon, in your base to start building things and doing work for you. And then once you built an advanced workbench and a storage box and a pal bed, then you got to level 2 and you could put 2 pals in your base and they could start doing work for you. And then you could put a quarry in your base and they could go mine the stone for you. And then
we're just going to let you go and see how far you can go before you run out.
I mean, I can go to level, I think 17 is where I'm at now.
I was gonna say all I care about is what level do I have to get to give my little sheep Gatling guns.
That kind of happens along the way. There's a tech tree in the game where whereby you can like build normal stuff. So like at level 3 you can build armor for the first time, right? Like, and hopefully you've already captured the sheep Pokemon at that point, or pal. I guess I should use the real word pal, because they're not really Pokemon. I mean, they are, but they're not.
Legally distinct, non-actionable Pokemon.
They're not, though. I mean, as much as I think it's funny that people call them Pokemon because you can trap them in Pal Balls, they're somewhat distinct on their own. They have different things going on. They have way more stats than Pokemon do. Especially because they work in your base, and there are like traits. You know, like Pokemon have traits. You know, in the later games, these guys have traits that are, oh, this one's like a workaholic. He'll work until he can't work anymore. This one eats less food, so when you're in your base, you don't need to have as much food for your pals to eat. This one is really good at base defense, so if he's in your base, he gets 20% extra attack damage, or you know, things like that.
Okay, so it's like little things that you can min max on if you really. It's like, oh, this guy loves stone, and so I could like have him mine the stones better or whatever.
Well, on top, yes, exactly. But on top of like their normal, this type of game, like Pokemon game type of stats, like attack, defense, ability points. You can each assign 3 abilities to each of them, and they kind of cast them automatically ish. You can't really control them like you would a Pokemon. They just sort of run around next to you doing stuff. They're more autonomous than in a Pokemon game. And you can also upgrade them. So like if you find one you really like, I have this one that follows me around. It's called a Daydream, and it won't stay in its Pal Ball. It just floats around next to you. So you can have it and another pal out. So you can have 2 pals following you around, and they just sort of attack. They use their abilities on whatever you're attacking. So like if I shoot my crossbow at something, they both go instantly use abilities on it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they have like more activated abilities you can use. But back to the Gatling gun question. There's that tech tree I was talking about. And once you capture a pal, if they have a crazy ability like that, like a lot of them do, they unlock in the tech tree that you need to spend a point on it. And then you need to build an item that goes in your item slot. So like if I have this leaf Pokemon pal, if I have this leaf pal, he looks like a squirrel, but he's made out of leaves almost. If I build his tech thing and then, you know, have it in my inventory, he will sit on my shoulder with a Gatling gun and shoot at people. But I have to have that item, and I have to have unlocked that item. But it's not like you have to like make it a certain way into the game. It's more like you have to make it far enough into the game to find those pals, and then just do the minor amount of work to do it.
So, but what you discussed was turning a pal into a Gatling gun. That's the opposite of what Michael asked. Michael said, when can I give the Gatling gun to the pal?
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? They are the same thing, right?
The pals pick up other pals and shoot them?
No, you don't make the gun and give it to them, right? It's their ability or whatever. You just have to.
Was I lied to in this trailer where I saw like a sheep holding a Gatling gun?
Yeah, as far as I understand it.
Web of lies.
As far as I understand it, I mean, I'm not at the end of the game so far, but like it seems
suppose anything
like
is possible. Yeah,
I suppose anything's possible. I got to the meat cleaver, and I decided I don't know if I want to keep playing. The infamous meme cleaver of the you can butcher your pals in the wild for meat. There's no pacifist way to play the game at all. So like a Pokemon game, you might be able to just capture things. The pal balls they tell you up front, like if you throw this at that pal, it's not going to work. It's a 1% chance of success, which means it's just going to bounce off.
Wait,
and
that's
then
like
that
the best innovation in Pokemon ever. Telling you the actual percentage instead of giving you like garbage.
Yeah.
Hope you hit them enough times? Question mark.
Yeah, it tells you up front. But a lot of them, you need to fight them in order to lower them, just like in Pokemon, right?
Sure.
Okay. We didn't get away from it. Darn.
and then the percentage goes up, so you can like bring up the Pal Ball, and it'll tell you again. It's like, oh, now it's down to like a 60%. But the fights happen so fast, and then there's these like areas. So there's like towers in the game. Oh, I'm gonna go to this tower, and inside the tower is a boss. They also have dungeons that have the same thing, and those you have to defeat them. Like you can maybe capture them at the end, but you have to fight them for like 20 minutes. Some of those fights are pretty long. Because you kind of go through all your pals, and you gotta like kite the bosses so you don't die, things like that. It's a technical-ish game. It's got a lot of DNA from Minecraft. It's got a lot of DNA from Fortnite because it's an Unreal game. Like they even swing the pickaxe the exact same way they do in Fortnite. I mean, same exact motion. I don't even. Same color palette as Fortnite. I never felt like I was running around and was like, oh, this is just a Pokemon ripoff, though, you know. But I did run around thinking they want me to build like a home and a base and all these things. And all I really want to do is just play the game. And it's starting to get to be like, oh, I got to go out and mine ore so I can bring the ore back and put it in the furnace. And my fire pal can work the furnace for a day and a half. So make me metal ingots. And then I can use the metal ingots to blow, you know, like.
So it's too many games layered on top of each other for one. You want one of the layers.
I could use one. I could use one less layer. Yeah, like the upgrade your base. Keep upgrading your base. Keep upgrading your base. They give you all the tools. They're like, okay, well, next step, you need to build a wheat farm. Well, how do I build a? What was that? What is that? My computer's just making noise for no reason. Wonderful. Well, I have to build a wheat farm. Oh, what do I have to do to build a wheat farm? Well, just like Minecraft, they don't tell you. They don't tell you things in the game. They tell you like, oh, you can use this parachute to glide down from the mountain. Okay, great. How do I do that? Well, you hit the space bar. Okay, well, I jumped off this tower. Turns out it uses your stamina bar. Oh, by the way, there's a stamina mechanic in the game. Uses your stamina bar for you to use the glider to drop down. Okay, wonderful. Well, I can kind of feather the glider, I guess, and glide down, just like in freaking Fortnite. But I landed in the water. Turns out if you land in the water without stamina, you instantly drown.
Oh, that's a problem.
Oops. Would have been nice to know.
Yeah. Swimming in deep water uses stamina, or you can try swimming harder in regular water, which also uses stamina. Hopefully you get out of the water before you lose all your stamina because you can't rebuild stamina in the water. But that mechanic is not discussed anywhere. So when you're trying to swim around the island because you can't get up or down off these cliffs and you just sort of die your way around the island and keep corpse running to your items, you drop all your stuff in the game when you die. So you got a corpse run back.
Oof.
Yeah. You can turn that off in the settings if you really don't like it, I guess, for kids. But the game's not that hard, so I left it on. You can die pretty easily. I don't know if I'll keep playing.
It is very funny to me listening to you talk about all this, and I'm like drawing the mental parallels between this and the island minigame, and it really is similar.
So similar.
The stamina stuff and the inventory stuff is obviously very different. Yeah.
But also it's also Animal Crossing-esque because like you do have to build a base, right? And while there aren't people necessarily in your base that you're trying to get to come there, you have to manage and plate spin all the like resources you need to have all your pals working the base. And also there are people in the world. There's like towns in the world. So you can kind of integrate your base next to one of them if you want. And then you've got to manage that as well.
Ooh.
I intentionally didn't bring up one of the mechanics in this because it tied into a bunch of other stuff, and I guess I'm gonna do it now. But there's a farm in this minigame
Uh-huh.
in Infinite Wealth. The farm is populated by the in-game version of Pokemon, which is a thing that
Oh
also
my
exists in the
god.
Yakuza game.
Oh my god.
And you can put them to work at like they can go into a gym
the
so they can get
same
stronger.
thing.
They can go tend crops. They give you
Uh-huh.
crops which you can use to make souvenirs and stuff,
I
or
literally
they can
have
make you money.
pals.
They can
Uh-huh.
sort you resources, and then also on that island where the farm is, you can. There's an online section where you can like go look at other people's farms and do stuff there for whatever reason.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
We are
like
approaching we are
very.
approaching gaming singularity here.
The funny part is though the like Pokemon aspect of it is like there are Pokemon trainers and Pokemon battling, like the Pokemon part of the Pokemon game outside of the farm and the Animal Crossing area that actually is the Pokemon game. Like you have 5 trainers and you have to go around and beat them in order, and you got to fight battles in between to level up and like do all
Yeah.
that stuff. That is like Pokemon, and there's types, and they show you the corner. It's like red beats green beats blue beats red, and then light and dark beat each other. Like Fire Emblem-esque almost in terms of like
Yeah.
the damage wheel there, but like it's a straight up Pokemon game. They all have moves, they have special moves. It's totally Pokemon, but that's all completely separate from the Animal Crossing side of it, which is all the Palworld stuff that you were just talking about.
I think games are
Wild.
too ambitious. I mean, Palworld, I don't know how they did all of this on the whatever budget they had. I think it's because it's all in Unreal Engine, right? And they didn't have to build it all.
Yeah, my guess is a lot of that stuff was like the Fortnite creators are like, here's the mining animation we used. And they're like, yoink.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you for that code.
Yeah. I mean, it literally, the like beating things down is the same exact animations, right? Like if you're trying to beat down a tree to get wood, just like you would in Fortnite. It's the same exact thing.
And to be fair, like there's some smartness in doing that.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not implying.
I'm saying like even from their perspective, it's like people know what hitting a tree in Fortnite looks like.
Yep.
If we make our hitting a tree look the same as that, they'll understand they're supposed to hit the trees. Like,
yeah, that is a good point, JJ. That's something I think is a lost. I listen to not a lot of gaming podcasts, but some of them, I don't think they are accounting for the generation behind us that are well integrated in knowledge of what is in Fortnite, and like things don't need a tutorial when they are shorthanded by a game that their entire generation has played or watched played.
Well, you say that was the exact thought that I had when you were describing the stamina. I was thinking that's just Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, dude.
Palworld stole 10 million% of things from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I have not played those games yet, and you know what my reasoning at the very end of this was going to be is I feel like when I'm playing Palworld, I should just stop this and go play those Zelda games.
There you go.
I literally, I said that
you think
to myself.
That you're like, oh, they look like they're stealing from Fortnite. No, they aren't. They're stealing from Breath of the Wild. You should go play some Breath of the Wild.
The glider animation, the way that he pops it, he or she, whatever you play as, pops it out. I was like, I've seen this exact clip in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
the color palette is 100% stolen from Breath of the Wild too. Like all the like hues and kind of like look of the island and stuff.
I guarantee you, I haven't even heard that much Breath of the Wild music. I guarantee you, all the music cues are exactly the same.
It would not surprise me.
So that was my end of thing. Was like, you know what would be better than all this is if there was less stuff to do. So I should probably go play Breath of the Wild. Like I don't need to build a base. I really don't want to actually. Like I think it's funny. A little bit of like build a base and use the things you can capture in the world to do it, including people if you want. I did catch one of those dudes that was raiding my base that is like a bad guy in a Palball just to see if it was legal. It was. He's very bad at everything, unlike pals. So who cares? You know?
Catch and release.
Yeah. Well, you can release, but the literal only way I have been able to find, and this is a lot of the problem with that type of game, is like I have to look on the internet for everything because there's no tutorial. So it's like, how do I release pals? The only way I can figure it out is if I use the meat cleaver to butcher them.
Ooh.
Right? Like, why is there no
Harsh.
just release button?
There must be buried somewhere some button.
Well,
right?
they do not explain to you. So like my first big fight in the game was I was level 6 and I took on a level 11 because I had to look up in the internet, okay, which pals can chop down trees, because I need a pal that can chop down trees. Oh, it's this one. Okay, so I go find that one. Oh, it's level 11. I'm level 6. Well, let's fight it anyway. Let's see if we can like use our gamer ability that I have, having played enough games. I know how to kite a monster.
Yeah.
Sure, I played a frost mage in WoW. I know how this works.
Right, exactly. And it works, right? But one of my pals ended up getting knocked out. So he turns red and you can't use him. There is literally no tooltip that comes up when that happens. There's no explanation. There's no nothing to explain how you're supposed to revive them. You're just supposed to know that you need to put them into your base's, what they call a pal box, which is like a computer, and let them revive in the computer.
That feels like the early access thing where it's like they will have something that explains this at some point.
But
in
also
maybe
this
7
is,
months after
this is also the generation though that plays Minecraft and Fortnite, and there's really nothing tutorialized in those games. So they're used to having to look other places for things.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right? Maybe this is also just how that stuff like that works in those games, and they're just like, oh, well, of course you put it in the computer thing.
I mean, I've
You're
been
like,
playing
well-
actually Minecraft a little bit recently with one of my little nephews, and the amount of knowledge they are able to store about how these games work is mind blowing to me.
It's funny.
I have a
because we
tough time remembering dungeon layouts from Zelda. Go ahead,
I
Michael.
was
Sorry.
going to say we talk about it like it's it's a change in the way that games are presented and kind of a new thing. But if you think about it, it's really an old thing.
It's
Like think of how games used to be in terms of not really explaining anything to you, and you just had to kind of jump into the game and figure it out for yourself.
And there's definitely a layer of the tutorialization is there for the people that need it, and the kids don't need it. And so the games that are really squarely aimed at them don't put the tutorials in because the kids that they're playing it don't need it. And then you or I come along, Andy, or like how I mine fish,
Yeah.
they're like, Dad, you're too old. Like you clearly don't get it. Like this, you obviously you do this and this and this, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if you gave your kids Smash and you'd be like, well, obviously Marth's up B has a range that's slightly longer than, and they're just like, what are you talking about, right?
Smash is a very good example, right? Or like even Mario Kart, right? They know the basics of Mario Kart, but like I could try and explain to them how to drift all day and they still would be like, I don't understand what you mean. I'm going to run into this wall.
Yeah. And it's just they have the mental energy and time to explore that stuff and not this other stuff yet, right? And one of these days they'll beat you real bad at Mario Kart and you'll wish we were back in the good old days.
Never
But not
going
there.
down. No way.
Not this one. Remember, the Mario Kart Alpha theory states that whenever they find the one that's theirs. So, we got
Yeah,
a next Mario Kart coming someday. Knock on wood.
for the Switch 2.
I don't know, man. I like the Mario Kart Alpha theory, but I think I'm better at 8 than I am at all the others.
Oh, the Alpha theory is about like your favorite one, right?
Oh,
Not
okay.
the one you're
Not
actually
the
the
one
best at.
Oh.
Because I agree with you. I'm probably at this point better at Mario Kart 8 than I ever was at 64 or SNES or any of the ones that I
64
actually
was
played
so
first.
fun, though.
Oh, they were all super fun. Yeah. I was
don't know
never
if
any
the
good at
3DS
Double
one
Dash,
was that
though.
much
I was
fun.
always terrible.
Since Palworld takes place on an island, so since we're talking about islands, I know we all saw. Oh man, there's 2 of them. One is Pokemon related island. Did you ever hear about Pokemon Resort? Do you know what that is?
This
No.
rings a faint bell.
Okay, so like Pokemon Resort, I think is a game where you try to create a resort, JJ, much like your Yakuza game,
Oh, okay.
and make it be a thing for Pokemon to enjoy, and they come and rest. They made a TV show called Pokemon Concierge based on this, which is a stop motion a real stop motion thing, and Netflix just said they're gonna make more of it. So
Oh, wild.
yeah,
So
crazy, right?
They made clay models of like Pokemon and stuff. That's kind of wild.
Did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think some of the backgrounds are generated AI, or not AI, but CGI. But I think all of the main modeling was clay. So there was only like 6 episodes. They weren't very long, but it was based on that Pokemon Resort, which is what Yakuza reminded me of, which is the only reason I'm mentioning it. The other thing that takes place on an island. Did you guys catch those Shogun commercials during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sure did.
Are you excited? Michael's response there was sure did.
Did you guys know this is based on a book?
Yeah, James Clavell. It's part of a
that-
series, actually.
Is that widely known?
It sold like a couple million copies. Can I tell you a small story?
Please.
I don't have a lot of things left from my grandparents. Over time, I've matriculated some of them out of the things that I have kept. A lot of family members have wanted things, and we generally split it all up. And frankly, I don't want a lot of stuff. I just want mementos. But one of the things I still have is this book, actually.
Specifically Shogun?
Specifically Shogun. I'm not sure if it's first edition, but it's very old. It's definitely from like the 70s.
Well, I'll tell you,
out.
It was printed in 1975. So if it's from then that'll be a first edition.
There
probably.
you go. Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's first edition or not. It's paperback. I don't know if it came in paperback or not. So it could be a second printing from the 70s also.
The first paperback edition, maybe, potentially, right? But
possibly. Yeah, I've never looked. I didn't really care. It's in terrible condition. It's not like it's worth keeping, other than the fact that I remember it sitting on my granddad's desk for years.
You know, don't say that though. If these things get popular again, like people pay for the old copies of some of these old books, so you never know.
Anyway, I knew about this because I have it, and when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Is that from the James Clavell book? That's crazy." Which it's actually the 3rd book, but it's technically the 1st. I don't.
What?
Okay. How much do you want to know? How much do you guys want to know about this?
I mean, I don't want to know anything about the story because I'm absolutely watching whatever this show is. But you're saying it's like a prequel or something, or is that what's
Michael,
what's happening here?
How much do you want to know about this?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Okay, I'll
You
try.
can give us the structure.
Okay, structure-wise, it is based on a real story, kind of. His version is fictionalized, but there's a real story of a man called William Adams, and his journey to Japan, and that's what most of the series is based on. It's not the very well named series. It's called the Asian Saga. These books. It's not so good in my opinion. But they don't all take place in Japan, which is why I think that's why it's called that. Because I think I have 3 of the books. One that I've seen or have is called Taipan, Shogun, and another one I remember seeing is called Gaijin. So I think there's more than that, though. Anyway, they weren't written in chronological order. So Shogun is the 3rd book of the series, but it's chronologically the 1st by by like 200 years.
Okay.
So then, the 2nd book is not about William Adams, but the 1st book was, or the 3rd book, or whatever you want to call it.
Interesting.
Yeah. As far as I remember, they're all stories about like Western bad interactions with Asia. Stuff like that.
I can believe that.
Okay. Well, I think the trailer that I saw looks sweet.
Yeah.
And
Did I catch that it looks like it's in Japanese?
I definitely saw a lot of subtitles, so I'm assuming that there are people speaking Japanese in this.
I hope they don't do the thing where they all talk Japanese for a little bit and then they switch over.
Switch to English.
Right? Like, does that bother anyone else where it's like, oh, it's such a foreign language. Now the white man understands it and we can switch to English. It's like, why would they stop speaking Japanese? Like, make the white guy speak Japanese and put subtitles under him.
They're definitely. I understand the like movie and TV making thing that they do when they do that, right? They're like, he understands, so now you, the audience, get to understand, right? That's what they're trying to do.
They do that in what's the Tom Cruise one about Japan?
The Last Samurai.
The Last Samurai. Yeah, he hears them all speaking Japanese and then he understands, and then. Now we don't speak Japanese anymore.
Antonio Banderas' 13th Warrior too.
Oh,
no one talks about that one.
No. I love the way that works in that movie.
Like him sitting around the campfire, listening to all these Norse dudes yell and like say things, and then eventually, he slowly figures it out.
But he speaks to them in their language, right? Like through some sort of magic, basically.
It's dumb. The movie is dumb.
That movie works with it for some reason. I don't know why. I do wish they would speak Norse in that movie too, which would have been cool.
I think he just he's like a scholar and like learns the languages, right? And then just like speaks, or
it's pretty magical how quickly it happens. But yeah, I think the conceit there is easier to get by with because they switch from him speaking English, which would basically have been Arabic, right? He would have been speaking Arabic.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not like he switched from speaking English to English or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
That one's a little wacky compared to the Last Samurai one where everyone just starts speaking English all the time.
As an aside, it's very funny. Speaking of like English and Japanese switches and stuff, the Like a Dragon game that I'm playing takes place in Honolulu, large parts of it. Hey, you know what language they mostly speak there?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm playing the game in Japanese because I like the Japanese voice actors and like the characters, like that I've grown used to hearing them talk in Japanese. So right. I expect the characters to talk in Japanese, and for the most part they do. But like you run into people on the street, and it's very funny to hear them be like, hey, watch it, jerk, when you walk into them or whatever. And like it's very funny, some of the deliveries, because you can tell this is the Japanese language track. I wonder if I switch to the English track if it's a different performance, because I hear some of them say like it's clearly someone who isn't speaking like an English as a first language, because it's a stilted delivery of someone saying like, hey, you jerk. And it's like, oh. It's very funny. And like some of the lines that they read in English versus Japanese, and I have the subtitles on, so it just shows in English all the time, right? It's like, that guy said that in English. I can just hear it, right?
Yeah.
It's like the subtitle is still on, But then I wonder, is like, so if I didn't have the subtitles on, would they show the Japanese subtitle for people that don't know or not? Like, I'm getting twisted into a corner of like what would and wouldn't be subtitled, because like there's parts where like two people have a conversation in English, I can hear them, and the subtitles are matching what they're saying, but like, is that subtitled in Japanese for the Japanese people? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question. You're gonna have to play it through again.
I will not. I refuse. If I put the subtitles in Japanese, I won't know what's happening, right? So anyway, I was just curious, but it feeds into this, is like, especially for a show like this, the Shogun, where it's set in Japan in that time period.
Yeah,
part of the historical accuracy.
Japan. Yeah,
and that's like the end of the Shogunate era, or like near the end of it. No,
it's the first Shogunate era, isn't it?
I'm really bad with what years are what in ancient Japanese history. I'll just go ahead and say, thanks, high school and other history classes. None of you taught me this history period very well.
Well, outside of U.S. history, right?
I'm gonna say U.S. curriculum, but that's another podcast episode.
Right.
I'm
sure if I was in
different
Japan,
podcast
I'm sure if I was in
genre.
Japan, I would have gotten the Japanese history, but I wasn't. So
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I remember from the book if it was like a certain shogunate era. I don't know. Oh, as if we're talking about Japan, we never talked about Blue Eye Samurai, JJ.
Oh man, dude, what a great show! People should watch that. What a great man! I love that show.
I think people should watch it, but I found it very uneven.
Okay.
Um, I have two notes, I guess, about it, which were I thought some of the episodes were really introspective about this person that is a samurai or trying to be a samurai, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Edo period makes for really good like culture conflict, right? Like to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't want to say too much about it since Michael hasn't watched it, and I don't want to like spoil some of the stuff that I figured out early, but I guess a lot of people did not figure out early, you know, about the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that struck me about it the most was it's a French and American show. It's not a Japanese show, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
and the animation style, while mimicking Japanese anime, was definitely more like that Red Turtle.
It's very. I felt when I was watching it like this is very anime inspired, but it is not. It did not feel like in any way anime.
Was it Red Turtle that was the one that Studio Ghibli did with France? I think that was it. But the style is inspired, but not exactly the same. And the same kind of went for the acting. I was unable, and this was weird to me, to get Japanese subtitles for this show on my TV.
In that you wanted the subtitle
not
language?
No, not subtitles. I'm sorry. I was unable to get the Japanese audio track.
There's no Japanese audio track for that show. I know. I also looked.
That's
interesting.
Really strange to me.
I mean, it proves your point more that this is not a Japanese focused, Japanese created piece of media, right? It's made from a Western team for a Western audience.
Yeah, it very much was for a Western audience. There's moments in there where Mizu's on like an acid trip and all of a sudden we hear Metallica.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
But the rest of the show is like very calm and introspective. It was very uneven, but not all the time.
I think I felt that I enjoyed the fact that it was like trying to do stuff with both the animation side, right, and the storytelling side, and you know they moved that into the art style even, right?
Yeah.
And I was, you know, I enjoyed that stuff, so I didn't interpret it as uneven, but I definitely see how you could get to.
I thought
there definitely were episodes that felt like they spinned their heels, or they were just kind of like, you know, spinning place for a little bit in some cases.
I thought it was pretty cool that they got Japanese Americans to do the voices for the English. So it's like, you know, George Takei and Randall Park and
it was good. Man, that's another good segue onto more TV stuff. I know Michael at least has seen. Michael, did you see the trailer for X-Men '97?
I did.
I think Randall Park. Now that I said it, I think he's Korean. I got to correct that. But anyway,
Asian at least, right? I don't know if that's better. I'm making some.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just trying to think. I was trying to think of the people that I remember in it without looking them all up, but I remember those two names off the top of my head because they have distinctive voices. And then I was like, wait, no, he's Korean.
They were very good in that show too. I enjoyed all the voice actors.
Randall Park was very funny in a very dry way, especially after his injury. Let's say.
Sorry. Speaking of X-Men 97, though, Michael, did you know they brought back a lot of the original voice cast?
So that was one of the first things that I wanted to look up about it, because one of the most iconic voices in that original X-Men animated series is Wolverine's.
Did they bring back Wolverine?
So I'm not all the way sure who was and wasn't back. I think a non-zero number of the people have passed away, but I believe most of them are back, with one notable exception of Jubilee, who they asked the original person to come back, but she declined and said to cast an Asian actor or actress in her place.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Because apparently the original Jubilee actress was a white woman and wanted an Asian person to be cast in that role.
Oh,
Okay.
Which Jubilee is in the comics, at least that I have read, is typically written and drawn as some level of Asian descent, depending on which continuity you're talking about.
Yes.
So I heard that they did that, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I was like, "Wait, all those people came back? How aren't all of them really old?"
no, no, I don't think. I mean, looks like probably a couple probably came back, but I can't imagine they got that many.
I think that is some of them. I think most of them did come back, or at least were offered the roles, and whether they still wanted them or not, who knows? But I thought that was cool that they did it, and seeing that this is meant to be the whole like continuation of the original X-Men animated series. Were you guys into that show as kids? It was a big deal. I remember
Yeah.
like loving that show as a kid.
So I think my I loved it as a kid. I'll start there, but I think my issue was with so many cartoons as a kid was that you're never able to watch all of it all the way through.
Sure.
Right. So
You're
it wasn't
an adult,
until
you can do it now.
I'd done it. I did it. I did it. I think the summer after I graduated from college, I was like, you know what? I can watch all of these in a row now, so I'm going to do it.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
the
excited that it's
broadcast.
going to be Cyclops' X-Men.
The broadcast being what it was, you didn't always get all the episodes in order, or you didn't get them the right way or whatever. And so that show has a very heavy narrative element. I'll tell you, because I've started rewatching it again on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Yeah, I started with the first season just to be like, is this the show? Did I like this show? Was it actually any good? It's like, you know what? This show's all right. It's
I
pretty
bet
good.
you remember more of the later one, the second X-Men show, than that one. Than you think,
I'm fairly confident I remember this show because I have a deep burned-in memory of that opening scene.
Well,
I know
everybody
that,
does.
Oh, yeah.
and the sounds.
Come on,
and
that
all
music.
stuff.
No one could ever forget that music if they watched it live.
Oh, so good, man. Everyone should go watch that show. It's still good.
So I'm looking at the voice talent. Wolverine is back. Rogue is back. Beast is back.
I'm thinking of X-Men Evolution. I might be thinking
You
of
might
X-Men.
be.
Different show.
There was
Different
No,
show.
I'm saying of the one that that you might remember more of. Maybe not though. Just because we would have been older.
Yeah, I am a little bit older than you. Yeah, I don't remember watching X-Men Evolution. I definitely watched this show, but like Michael, I
watched
definitely
both.
agree. I never watched all of it through.
Yeah. But X-Men animated series would have started when I was like 6, so it's hard to remember all of that one. Versus I can remember a lot more of X-Men Evolution, and I knew I was on WB.
Yeah, because also this X-Men show was syndicated for years afterwards, right? So it's possible I didn't watch it in the original airing, and I watched it at some point later.
Which again, with syndication, it doesn't all come out in the right order.
Yeah, and so it'd be like you watch this episode, you're like, oh, cliffhanger, and then it's like next week you watch the show, and it's like some other episode. You're like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm excited to watch it. I think I'll rewatch the animated series. I don't know if I'll do it with the kids though.
Yeah, it's 90s. It's not. I've only watched like the first 8 episodes of the first season, and it's not like objectionable, I'll say, so far. But it's also very 90s like animation. Your kids might not be into it. Like it's just not aimed at them, I would guess.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just send her outside for batting practice while I watch it.
There you go.
Oh boy. Well, I think that's got to be it. We don't have time to talk about side plots.
Save it. We need something for next week.
That's true. If people want to email us why Cyclops is the best X-Men,
They could do that. Andy is wrong at.
I mean,
I will tell you.
Response.
I will tell you from watching that show, they really want you to like Cyclops a lot, though. That X-Men animated show is like, yo, Cyclops is the man, and they want you to know. So I could see how you could get there if that was your first exposure to Cyclops, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, look, then you read Phoenix Saga and you're like, look how selfless this man is. You know?
Yeah, they do it in this show at some point. I don't know which season. I'll get there.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, they do.
Yeah, they get there.
But you can send those emails to where, Michael?
You can send those to podcast@weweregamers.com. You can also get at us on social medias. Find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and you should go check out our YouTube, youtube.com/@weweregamers.
Yeah, and that's podcast@weweregamers.com, and let us know about who the real best X-Man is, though, because it might not necessarily be Cyclops, in your opinion,
Okay, well, I mean, do we want to give them a list like Cyclops, Wolverine, let's see, Storm, Beast, Rogue, Jubilee, Gambit, Jean Grey, Professor X. Who else was in the original
Nightcrawler
show? No, was not in the original show. Guaranteed.
Let's see, Morph.
Morph was in there?
Morph was a made-for-TV
in
character in that show.
Oh, that's right. Am I wrong, or was Nightcrawler in there?
Maybe later. I haven't seen him yet. Colossus shows up.
Yeah.
Juggernaut shows up.
Definitely Colossus.
Magneto.
So Nightcrawler, Michael, is a major component of X-Men Evolution.
Yeah, this is true. Yes.
Which is why sometimes when people talk about Nightcrawler a lot, I'm like, you liked X-Men Evolution. I don't know. Or, maybe you just like a chaotic neutral and you like the Sentinel robots. Whatever. Email us. It's the main thing I kept thinking as the game went on, and it was like, there's so much busy work.
Yeah.
It's just like so much busy work. It sounds like it was your Ebony experience as well. Keep upgrading your base.
Yeah, exactly. You just need this to get to the next level.
Well, now I can build 2 bases because I hit base level whatever. So I can go build another base somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to build a second base. And populate
heard
that
you
base
like
with
bases.
pals and do all the same work all over again. It's definitely a game that seems like it's meant to keep you on there forever.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I don't know why, because it's paid if you don't have Xbox. So I guess maybe Xbox wants it to go on forever because they have it. Maybe they're funding it.
That would make sense.
Is Xbox funding Palworld? It's the biggest third-party game on Game Pass ever. Okay. Cursor. Did you ever beat... this is probably too long a conversation, but did you ever beat Loop Hero?
I did not.
Okay.
I don't remember how far I got. I unlocked several of the next characters.
Yeah. I just don't know if it's worth continuing. Or if I should just say I got the most out of it, I should.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you.